Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tim Kraus. Today's the 27th of May, 2022. Now, that's 4 days past the 23rd of May deadline as it relates to Isaac or Ray calling to invite us to the church so that they could apologize for the things that they've said regarding my incarceration, the false things that they've said regarding my incarceration and my kidnapping somebody from Golden Dawn and my incarceration being because of sexual or pedophilia or child molestation. So just wanted to give everybody a really quick update. We've been doing a lot of research and we've been kind of looking into Golden Dawn generally. Some of the things that we've discovered are truly amazing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a taster today. We're going to do videos in the future. I asked former assembly members from Golden Dawn, I asked some former assembly members, is there anything that you'd like to be on camera about as it relates to Golden Dawn and maybe the unethical or the unchristian sorts of behaviors and patterns that took place there? Oh my gosh, boy, did I get a list of people that are really interested in participating in those videos. So we're going to have some videos later on that talk about some specific issues and some specific behaviors. We're going to make sure that everything that we do is incredibly well documented like we normally do, unlike Golden Dawn, who basically talks about people being in jail without any possible proof because it didn't occur. Unlike Golden Dawn, who talks about kidnapping people from their assembly without any evidence or without any proof. We are going to have significant and substantial documentation for each one of the videos that we do. This will include some of the research that we've done independently that we've discovered. But one of the things that I've learned is that Golden Dawn is in the money lending business. They apparently give money to assembly members to, quote, help them out. And what's amazing to me, and I think you'll find this amazing as well, God himself is actually on the lending committee for Golden Dawn. As it was related to me But all of this money lending, all of this association is dependent upon whether or not Golden Dawn thinks you are living a life of Christianity to their standards. And then the money that they gave you suddenly becomes a loan and you're required to pay it back over a period of time. When someone asked, as an example, Isaac, how could they do that? He said, well, God gives and God takes away. God giveth and God taketh away. So obviously God's involved in the decision. Apparently, God speaks directly to the treasurer of Golden Dawn and to Isaac, and he says, God lets them know who's not living a Christian life, and basically that's when they call in the note or they force the person to go into a situation where they're indebted to Golden Dawn for the money that they gave them previously. Where there is no contract, where there is no written agreement for anything of the nature, basically God tells the treasurer or Isaac or both, and then Isaac shows up and tells you, hey, you know what, you're not living a Christian life and you have to give me the money back and I'm going to set up payments for you. So basically that's how that works apparently. Golden Dawn is a money lending organization with God directly associated with the lending committee. I thought that was a fascinating role for the Almighty. And apparently that's how that works, is that if you're not living the way you should, according to Isaac, God directly tells Isaac and the treasurer to get the money back. The real question is, what are church monies, what are church funds going to people in order to loan monies to start up businesses? And the challenge is, when you loan money to start up businesses with Golden Dawn, what happens then is that gives the young people in the church who don't really have an education, because the high school in Golden Dawn issues a diploma that's not really an accredited or a certified diploma. So you can't walk out of Golden Dawn and do things like as an example, join the military. You're not qualified because you don't have a high school diploma, even though you went to their school, but what that does is it places Golden Dawn in a position to be able to give those businesses that they favor, that they've given money to, or that they've loaned money to, loaned or gived, whichever, because they use it kind of interchangeably. It gives them a constant flow of steady workers. They can't go anyplace else to work. They don't have a high school education that's accredited anywhere. So obviously they're going to be dependent on the places where the members of Golden Dawn actually own the businesses in order to be able to go to work. So, it works out because that's the way that works. Also, Golden Dawn considers when they give money to an organization, when they give money to a business, what that adheres that business to do is to tithe, not on the net, not on the after expenses, but to tithe on the gross. Now, these are people that have businesses. They've got to pay for materials, they've got to pay for labor, they've got to pay for services, and then they've got to pay their taxes. They have to pay all of the fees associated with owning a business, B&O tax, income tax, all of those taxes that one has to pay when they're in business, and they might have an income at the end of it. But Golden Dawn has taken their cut right off the top, 10%, tithe off of the gross, not off of the net. And so these businesses that are being loaned money or given money by Golden Dawn are struggling because, this is an extra burden, and it feeds into Golden Dawn's coffers. It feeds into the Golden Dawn revenue flow. And so apparently this coercive money lending thing that God is involved with, because God giveth and God taketh away, according to Isaac, right? This money lending scheme tends to cycle through Golden Dawn, in the form of tithes and in the form of offerings. It's pretty egregious. We're going to discover whether or not that's actually a legal practice. It's certainly not an ethical practice from a ministerial perspective. There's no Christianity in it. There's nothing in the scripture that talks to how God, basically allows money to be given and then allows money to be taken away, or call the note because you're not living a Christian life. And all of this is very coercive because it's Isaac who determines what kind of life you are actually living. And it's Isaac and Ray and others who determine exactly how that looks. So, anytime they want, they can go in and call the note because you're not living to their Christian standard. We're going to discover that in detail. We're going to go through lots of cases of that sort of thing that are happening in Golden Dawn as we speak. And we're going to discover whether that's legal. We're going to discover whether or not that constitutes a coercive financial situation. It certainly creates a dependency within the church because you can't leave. Once you see, the problem is that mortgage that they have on your house, that loan that they gave you on the house. Now, if you bother to sell your house, you owe any equity that you have in your home, you owe that to the church. That belongs to the church, right? That's not your equity anymore. That's equity that belongs to the church. So it absolutely is coercive. I've got real questions as to whether or not that's a legitimate practice. But it could be. Goodness sakes, they have God on their committee, on their lending committee. So because after all, Isaac explained it as God giveth and God taketh away. So maybe maybe I'm totally off base. We'll discover that as we go through this. As it relates to my case, I have been in contact with attorneys. We have a year to actually file. We're in the process of investigating and digging up information regarding the church and regarding Isaac. We're going to pursue some of those things first in other avenues, and while the attorneys get ready to prepare what they need to prepare in order to go towards Golden Dawn. Somebody had a meeting with Golden Dawn yesterday, the 26th, that was Thursday, and basically Isaac said that man, again referring to me, that man is afraid to have a discussion with me. He won't come and have a conversation with me. After I heard that, I picked up the phone and I called Ray, left a message, telephone message for Ray, said, hey, Ray, just Ray Aguirre, as you may remember, is the one that I had talked to originally. And I said, Ray, my conversation that you may remember was to actually sit down and have a conversation with Isaac. And you basically stopped that, told me that that wasn't going to happen. But that was my initial inquiry to you, was to set up that meeting directly with Isaac. And then I called and left a message for Isaac on his cell phone and said, Isaac, you got to quit saying that, buddy, because, gosh, I'm more than willing to sit down and talk to you. You name the time, you name the place, I'll make it available, and I'll drive down to Tucson and we'll sit down and have that discussion. So far, I haven't heard anything from Ray and Isaac. I should put a survey question down in the description that basically says how many people actually think he's going to call and set up that appointment. My guess is it would be lopsided in one direction as opposed to another. But I'm just to give you a heads up, Ray and Isaac, I am more than willing to sit down and have that discussion with you. As a matter of fact, that's what I called Ray to do when I called him to begin with. So I'm more than happy to have that discussion. You need to quit telling people that I'm afraid to talk with you, because I am more than happy to have that discussion. And in the meanwhile, what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks is we're going to just highlight some of the things that Golden Dawn has done as it relates to finances, as it relates to coercion, as it relates to dependencies, as it relates to whether the high school is accredited, as it relates to a whole series of things that are occurring inside of Golden Dawn. We're going to have a discussion, and we're going to figure out whether or not the things that I've heard are true, and we're going to document it, and then we're going to try to figure out how to pursue some sort of relief for the people that these issues affect. As an example, how is Golden Dawn going to compensate the people that have to now go get a GED or go to another high school, maybe an online high school program, in order to be able to get a real, no kidding, high school diploma so that they can do things like, enter the military or get into the immigration pipeline or do a lot of the things that require specific documentation that have specific requirements regarding that education. Certainly they're not able to go to work because employers want to see somebody with a high school diploma. So how are they going to give relief to the people, the many people that have gone through their school and have received no accredited educational certificate that is of value to any of those organizations? How are they going to do that? Where is the relief from the people, as an example, where Isaac gave money to in order to ease their burden, and then came back and called the note and put them in a position where now they're obligated on a monthly basis to pay back, the note or the money that they provided, because they weren't living the Christian life. They weren't doing the Christian things that Isaac thought they should have been doing. Where is that? Where's the relief for those people? Businesses as well. Where's the relief for the businesses who get the money from Isaac, and then the adhesion or the expectation is that they're going to pay 10% of their gross revenue to Isaac as tithes? Where's the relief for those folks who have been doing that over a number of years? So we're going to go through the process of investigating those things and of documenting instances where that's occurred. We're going to be looking at resources to figure out whether or not there's any opportunity to give relief to those folks. So just wanted to give everybody a quick heads up. This is a 15-minute shot today. We're looking forward to doing other videos as well. I've got some real doozies, but we're going to certainly over the next couple of weeks focus on these. And I could not believe the number of former Message believers in Isaac Noriega's assembly in Golden Dawn who were willing to come forward and say, "Oh my goodness, yes, I would love to sit down and talk with you about that," and to highlight some of these areas where it may not be, it certainly is not ethical, may not even be legal, and if I were the loan committee, if I were the treasurer of the church, my first question would be, what are we doing lending money to people or giving money to people to create adhesion contracts when there are other things within the church that we really ought to be focused on, like ministering the gospel? But that's just me, and I know Isaac's got some, quote, trustees, and that would be a good question for the trustees to ask. But, will they ask? Who knows? Anyway, we'll look forward to publishing some more videos. Isaac, anytime you're ready, buddy, name the time, name the place. I am more than happy to come to Tucson and sit down with you. I'm certainly not afraid of doing that. As a matter of fact, that's why I contacted you to begin with. Let's sit down and have a discussion over the Word and over William Branham's message, which it appears you don't follow all that much, except the part where William Branham talks about corrective love. And I want to let you know, Ray and Isaac, upcoming videos, we're going to talk about whether corrective love, whether God's corrective love has to do with you as a pastor, or whether that has to do with God. So we're going or the parents of individuals in your church. You certainly take that upon yourself, Isaac, and we're going to discover whether or not that's scriptural and whether or not that's a reasonable approach. So let everybody go today. We don't want to take up a bunch of time, but those are some of the topics that we're going to be going over. Isaac, gosh, you had an opportunity to get in contact with me until the 23rd of May. You didn't. So we've got a lot of stuff to go through. We've got a lot of stuff to proceed with. So we'll just proceed. Really appreciate everybody's time today. Hope everybody enjoys the videos. We're gonna be doing another video as soon as we can line up the video time with people. Boy, the scheduling is going to be a nightmare because there are so many people that want to talk on camera about their experiences with just these types of issues at Golden Dawn. So we'll make sure that we get them taken care of, or get them videoed and processed and get them moving forward. But just wanted to give everybody an update, let you know where we were, because I know that people were interested after the 23rd of May about where we were going to go. I got some emails that talked about that. So I appreciate the emails. I appreciate everybody's feedback. Hope everybody's having a great day. And May's almost over. We're looking forward to June. Looking forward to seeing everybody when we get together with you. And God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.